Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Thank you to our amazing DJ Mars for today. My amazing brother from another mother. Thank you for playing that song that really lifts the spirit. And he knows that is my favorite song too. So thank you so much, Mars. We're gonna go ahead and get started. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I am gonna go ahead and share my screen to get us started. And we officially want to welcome everyone who's joining us today to our 2020 Family and Community Engagement Summit. This year, having a virtual style. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today on our third day together. We are excited to have you here with us. First and foremost, I do want to announce there are some items that we want to keep track of for today and we want to announce. So we are recording this session because we want to make sure that it's available to you after this day. With that said, though, the chat and everything that is said or shared today during this session, it will be recorded. However, your face is not being shown. However, when you type a message or a comment, it will show up under the chat. So we want to make sure that you know that and we all agree to that. We have interpretation provided today, and we want to welcome and thank Mr. Daniel Tamayo. Hi, Daniel. I think he's already in our next room, right, Mars? So yeah. He is already in our next room, but thank you, Daniel, for joining us today here. I am going to make an announcement for that in Spanish in a few minutes. And we also want to welcome our featured speaker, who I just want to ask her to wave at us today, Mrs. Laurel Kirchhoff. Thank you for being with us today, Laurel. So interpretation is provided today, and thanks to Daniel Tamayo, who's been doing an amazing job, not only yesterday, but the day before, and he keeps on coming back. So thank you, Daniel, for coming back to join us and do the amazing job that you're doing for Spanish-speaking community. So since he is in the next room, you should be able to see a button at the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and announce this in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking community. So if you excuse me for a second, I'm going to go ahead and do the translingual into my Spanish main language. Buenas tardes y gracias por acompañarnos a todas las familias que nos están acompañando esta tarde, a la comunidad que nos está una vez más apoyando en esta cumbre de 2020, cumbre virtual de padres 2020. Una vez más, le damos gracias al señor Daniel Tamayo por hacernos el favor de interpretar toda la sesión simultáneamente. Si usted gusta tener acceso a la interpretación simultánea, en la parte posterior de su pantalla, de su celular, va a ver el símbolo que se ve así, como el mundo, que dice interpretación. Si presiona ese símbolo, le va a dar la opción de tomar la sesión en español, lo cual lo va a enviar a la sala de español. Eso significa que va a escuchar al orador principal a un 20%. So me va a escuchar a mí, a Mars Serna o a Laurel, a Robin McEver-Brown a un 20%. Y va a escuchar al orador que está interpretando, que es el señor Daniel Tamayo, a un 80%. Si gusta regresar a la sala de inglés, una vez más presione el botón que dice interpretación y seleccione inglés y lo va a regresar a la sala en inglés. Si tiene pregunta, por favor póngalo en el chat. Quiero presentar también a nuestra segunda jefe, a nuestra segunda líder que está este día una vez más apoyándonos, a la cual queremos y respetamos mucho, Alma Hernández. Alma, si gustas decir y saludar a nuestra comunidad. Alma Hernández va a estar también monitoreando el chat. So, si tiene una pregunta en español, por favor, póngala en español y con mucho gusto le dejamos saber al orador su pregunta o su comentario. Una vez más, si tiene pregunta para interpretación, Alma lo va a poner en el chat. Gracias. So, once again, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to move on. My name is Marisa Lazoneco, and I'm your host for today. I know the last 2 days, Mars kept on raising the bar. So I asked him to bring the DJ again because he just keeps on raising the bar with the hosting, and I don't have any skills. So I didn't want to go ahead and stand up and dance salsa. So I just thought, you know, Mars, can you bring salsa for today? And thank you so much for doing that for me, Mars. So I am your host for today, and I get the honor of introducing our amazing team, starting with my colleague, Mars. Mars, you want to welcome our community?
Thank you, Marisa. And, you know, this has been a labor of love the last 3 days, and it's just an honor and a pleasure to be here with everybody. Thank you all who have attended the last couple of days. You know, you've had some great keynote speakers with Daniel Walker on Tuesday, and yesterday with Dr. Sergio Chavez. And today you get the one and only Laurel Kirchhoff, who is an amazing technology guru, and she's going to share with us her knowledge around distance learning and how we as parents can support our children and not pull out our hair like I have since March. I had more hair in March, but I don't have that much anymore now because I pulled it all out. Those of you that know me know I was already bald, but I just want to thank you all for being here, and I'm here to support you, Marisa. So whatever you need today, that's what I'm doing.
Well, you are my colleague, friend, and my hermano, my brother from another mother. I know yesterday Dr. Chavez said that we are doing now translingual. So I get to do a lot of translingual with you today since my main language is Spanish. So for those of you that don't know Spanish, I call Mars often my hermano because he is my brother. And I'm just very blessed and thankful, Mars, to call you a colleague and be able to serve our community hand and, you know, side by side with you. And of course, under the leadership of our amazing Superintendent Alejandro, who I also get the honor of introducing once again the video in which he welcomes our community, not only our San Bernardino community, but our Riverside community, because we are a community that supports, we understand our families are highly mobile, and we support all of our families that continue to move from our Riverside area to San Bernardino area. And we continue to support each other as county offices. So thank you for to the Riverside County Office of Education staff that's joining us today. We have a message from our superintendent welcoming everybody today.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for the annual Family and Community Engagement Summit. The event has taken on a new look this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The summit has gone virtual and will be offered as a 4-day series. Each day will feature an amazing keynote speaker. The need for connection and engagement has transformed, and we have bridged the distance through the use of technology. We now have new opportunities to learn and grow as a community with a focus on equity and access for every student. The summit will prepare parents and caregivers to be active participants in their students' educational journey. I want to thank Cal State San Bernardino Gear Up, San Bernardino County Children's Network, and the Riverside County Office of Education, along with all of our other amazing partners. Your collaborative efforts ensure that we create a vision of equity and a path for everyone in the Inland Empire and beyond. Enjoy your time learning with us.
Thank you, Superintendent Alejandro. And those of you who may not know, our county is the largest one in the nation. We have the largest county in the nation. When we measure our county with other states, it equals to the size of the state of Connecticut. So just putting that in perspective, our county of San Bernardino is as large as the state of Connecticut. So I say that to say that our superintendent is a very busy gentleman visiting our different districts, supporting our different districts initiatives. And so he has a team of great leaders that continue to support that work. And we're just very blessed. Mars, Alma, and myself, we're just very blessed to have the leadership of our amazing one and only Robin McIver Brown, who not only takes this work to heart, but she really brings her own passion, her own knowledge, wisdom around the area of family engagement. So welcome to our wonderful one and only boss and leader, Robin McIver Brown.
Well, thank you so much, Marissa, and thank you to Mars and Alma and Daniel, who's translating. We truly appreciate each and every one of you, those who have started with us on Tuesday and have been with us every single day, and those who were able to just join us today. We really thank you for taking the time. We welcome you. We ask that you engage, you ask questions in the chat. No matter what your language, we are here to help. And we just really believe that the families in the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, and Riverside counties are so very important to us. You are the heartbeat to everything the students do. And so therefore, we have really tried to create this moment in time this week with you in mind. So I know if you aren't able to stay on the entire time, they have something for you because it will be archived and videos will be released later. And so it's just a time where you get to pick and choose, but just hear about all the great things and connect yourself as parents to this work. And we want to let you know how very, very important you are to everything we do. And to our amazing speaker that is going to be giving us some great information, Laurel Kirchhoff. She is one of our very own here at San Bernardino County, Superintendent of Schools, and we just can't wait. She is a wealth of knowledge, and we are so honored to be able to have her spend some time with us today. So once again, enjoy what has been planned for you today, all the breakouts that will lead after this presentation. And then I always say, please tell a friend. Tomorrow is our last day, but we hope it's the beginning of all the continuous involvement that every parent has been doing along the way, every guardian, every community member. So we hope to see you tomorrow as well to end this, but throughout the year as we continue the work of family engagement throughout San Bernardino County. Thank you so much, Marissa.
Thank you, beautiful boss. I always call her, and I want to say that I call her beautiful boss because she's just a beautiful inside and out person. And Mars and I are really blessed to have her leadership. So thank you, Robin. We would not be able to do half the thing, not even 1/3 of what we do, if it wasn't for your leadership, for your inspiration. And every plan, every thought that we bring to you, you're always saying, yes, let's do it. How do we make it happen? And including this parent summit. So thank you so much because for the years that we've worked with you and the years that we've known you before, you've been a model of that. And I say that because yesterday, one of the comments was, how can we continue to take this to our site? So one of the things that we can say today is bring your leadership. So this is a parent summit, but invite your principal, invite your district administrators to join, share the link with them, because it really takes a team. And it takes leadership to be on board. So we will continue to support families and administrators and staff to make sure that we continue to do this partnership work. And we're just blessed to have an amazing leader that allows us to do that. We also have another leader that tells us what to do and where to be every day in the office. And even when we're not in the office, I get this text message, Tran. She misses my morning calls every morning. It's this beautiful lady with the blue shirt here hiding, because she likes to hide. Every time Marx is gonna give her hats off and recognition, she's somehow not in the room in that particular second. But today you cannot hide, Alma. So would you like to say hello to our familias in our community?
Sure. I just want to say thank you to everybody for being here and for allowing us to enter your lives. And I hope that you can enjoy all these amazing speakers and the workshops that we have after all. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. And so the day after today, if you want to stay connected, Alma Hernandez is that person that you email, you receive emails from. So this is the beautiful person and the boss that you want to also get to know, because she will make sure that we are there and that we support you. So with that said, today I'm really just honored to introduce our keynote speaker. I'm excited, I'm honored, and I know Mars is gonna probably say amen or raise his hands when I say this. I did not want to be the host for today because it's too much technology and too much control for a person that is challenged with technology. So I told Mars, can you please be the host? And I'll just share my screen because I feel comfortable with that. So if the last 6 months, your screenshots, your birthday celebrations, your staff meetings look kind of like my desktop with a lot of memories of Zoom meetings or WebEx chats, and you have celebrated birthdays, you have met more than enough times with your kids' schools, extracurricular activities, with your comadres. You now have probably some cafecito over Zoom with comadres and your neighbors. You are in the right space. If you're a teacher who has been the last month learning more than you ever thought you would know about Zoom or WebEx chat, and your screenshots look like this every day, you are in the right space, because we are going to talk about how technology is now stretching us a little bit more than ever before. If you have been experiencing any of these symptoms the last 6 months, you are also in the right keynote session today. And if you know somebody who needs to be in it because they've also experienced some of these symptoms, please send them the link right this moment. If you're a parent saying, I need some help because as much as I'm learning about Zoom and how to do Facebook Live or any of the other features, I still need some more support. You see, having access and having the technology at hand doesn't mean that it makes us proficient at it. And I know as a mom, I've experienced that. Each one of the symptoms, I've experienced that as a staff, learning new technology. I think I have a new button that says R on my keyboard. Distance learning is now a word that we all have in common. And that picture at the top, on the left top, I know all of us here as parents, or especially working parents, we've experienced not only showing up to work every day, but our lives have changed from dropping off our kids at 7:30 in the morning at school and going to work to now working in our home, and our living room or our dining room or our kids' room is now the classroom. So I know Mars says that at his house, he is now the principal. Mars, you're principal and counselor?
I end up being the principal, the nutrition man, the campus supervisor. So sometimes the kids come out of their room and it's early, and I'm like, what are you doing? Where's your pass? And they're like, oh, the teacher let me out early. Sure they did. So, you know, I have them on email and text messages sometimes. But yeah, we pick up all these roles. And so it's a challenge. So thank you.
Yes. Alma, do you happen to be a teacher or a counselor or after school program provider? She's probably already on it and multitasking herself. I know in our house, my husband and I would take turns. And one day I'm a principal, the next day I'm a counselor, the next day I'm the cafeteria lady. So all of us here, whether you're a parent, community partner, or staff, either we have experienced or we know people who are struggling with it. Yesterday in our session of equity, one of our colleagues pointed out that equity also aligns with the gap in equity on technology. So today's session, we're going to talk about how do we bridge that equity, not only having access to technology, but also helping families learn how to utilize that technology. Also knowing and acknowledging that some of our families may not have everything that they need. So how do we support them organize what they're receiving and learn how to utilize it so their kids benefit? And if you're staff and you're joining us today, if you're a teacher or administrator, I know you're also going to learn on how to engage families for where you are. So I had the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker, Mrs. Laurel Kirchhoff, our program specialist and guru for the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, who on March 13th, she was called and said, you need to now all of a sudden bring all these resources and provide technology support to teachers and also families. Let me share a little bit more about Laurel, and I don't know this by heart, so I'm gonna read a little bit of this. So Laurel Aguilar is the Digital Learning Project Specialist for the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. She has been 20 years in education as a veteran classroom teacher, educational technology coach. She has 2 teaching credentials, and she is now part of the Leading Edge Online Blended Teacher, as well as Google Certified Educator. She is part of the Inland Area Q, Region 12 AXA Women Leadership Network. She serves on the California State Leadership Team for National History Day, California. And she's also the Digital Citizen Professional Learning Leadership Network participant and is part of the leadership group. On a personal note, now having said what she has done professionally in her career, I remember the first time that we called on Laurel to come and share with our Family Engagement Network. And we said, can you please bring some information for families to learn how to tap into the resources? This was in January or February. And she came in and she gave so much information, but from the mom perspective, which we truly appreciated, because one hat that she always brings to everything she does is Laurel is it's a powerful leader and also a very engaged parent herself. So Laurel, thank you, because since the day that we met you at the Family Engagement Network meeting in February, you brought with you your heart, your corazón as a mom, and how you're utilizing technology to support your children's learning journey, and how also you acknowledge that there are some challenges with that. So thank you for bringing your expertise, your wisdom, not only as an educator, but also as a parent. So thank you for joining us today. Please join me in giving Laurel a round of applause. Thank you, Laurel. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing so you can get a lot more technology here for us.
Well, thank you so much. That was such an amazing introduction. I'm so excited to be here today. I am, I've always heard that, like, how do we balance it all? How can I, balance work and home life and being a mom and do all these things? I'm here to tell you, like, there's no balance. We're always all the things all the time. And we're doing the best we can with what we have. So I am so entirely grateful to be here today. And I am presenting the EdTech Handbook for Parents. And this is a guide that I'm really hoping is going to be useful. So it looks like a book, and at the end, you're going to get your very own book that you can take with you that has every single resource that I am going to be presenting today. So it's a special edition just for you. You can download it and keep it for yourself, and that way you can go back and use all of these resources that I'm going to share with you. But first, I want to kind of just tell you a little bit about myself. I know Marissa gave me an introduction, but just kind of give you a little bit of background of where who I am and where I'm from. So I do work at San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools office. I work in the amazing digital learning, I'm a digital learning services, and I work with some just wonderful colleagues, Sonal Patel and our CTO, David Thurston. And I obviously, I love my colleagues in our family engagement department as well. So thank you so much, Marissa, Mars, Robin, Daniel, Alma. Thank you everyone that has brought me here and supported me in this journey. But being here is just one part of my life, right? And of course, work is a huge part. I grew up in Southern California. I grew up in Riverside County, and I live in San Bernardino County. My kiddos go to school in San Bernardino County, and this is my home. Riverside County, San Bernardino County has been my home since I was 8 years old. So I have a very deep connection to this area, and I love where we live. I love our region, and I love being able to serve in our county as much as I can. So here I am, and I have my contact information here, so that way, if you ever need to get a hold of me or want more resources or clarification, please feel free to reach out to me. It's also at the end, and like I said, you'll get this. And if you're on Twitter, you can follow SBCSS EdTech. That's mine and Sonal's official SBCSS Twitter, and we post lots of free resources and upcoming webinars and free PD that we're doing for the county as well. But that's my day job. I do have 2 sons, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about them. So I have a 7th grader and a 9th grader. And so this is hard. Being a mom and teaching and working and doing all of these things it's just like what you're going through. I am now a homeschool teacher, which I I never thought that I would be, I've been in the classroom teacher, but I never thought I would be a homeschool teacher. And I'm, you know, doing the best I can with my boys. I have, so like I said, I have a 7th grader and I have a 9th grader. And you can see in this picture, this is the very first day of distance learning for the fall. And they really are camera shy, so that's why their faces are the little emojis. But this picture kind of explains their personality. My 9th grader is a little bit less enthusiastic about distance learning, and my 7th grader, you know, he misses school. I gotta just tell you, he is more of an extrovert. He misses school, he misses his friends, he misses his teacher. He's a soccer player, and he just really misses that connection that he gets at school. My 9th grader, not so much. He likes the distance learning environment. It kind of works for him and his personality. So let me just tell you what this means. And I only have 2 kids, but I'm the oldest out of 5 in my family. So I'm I think both ways here. Just between my 2 boys, we have 14 teachers, which we would have anyways, whether we were distance learning or not. This means there's 14 different Google Classrooms. And that's hard because every teacher is doing the best they can. I know that in my heart of hearts, but every classroom is set up differently, even though they're in Google and they're Google Classroom. And I teach teachers how to use Google Classroom as a parent, when I go in and I'm looking, I'm like, okay, let's see how they have it structured. So almost every classroom is set up differently. It also means between my 2 boys that they have 39 Zoom sessions a week. And let me just let that sink in a little bit too. So for 2 teenage boys, they're on 39 Zoom sessions a week. And that's not if they're going to office hours either. And that's not all of the time they're spending on their computer doing homework either. So it's a lot. Plus there's 2 advisory classes, link crew, parent handbooks, homework, classwork, projects, all sorts of madness. So from the mom point of view, from the parent point of view, I just want you to know, I see you. I know you're doing your best because I'm doing my best. My house is not perfectly clean. Like, we work on it, right? But it's a constant battle. Laundry is piled up to heaven knows how high, and I make lots of mistakes. I mean, I'm not here to oversell this. My kids call me the world's okayest mom. It's kind of a joke that we have, and I said it once, and then now it's just our running joke. And you could see this mug here. If you want to get your own world's okayest mom mug, you can find that one on Etsy. But it's just kind of a joke that, you know, and this was before COVID, that it was like the world's okayest mom. Now it's like more and more and more true. So, you know, it's like we're all doing the best we can. But this is a little bit about my life as a parent, and I just want to let you behind the curtains and kind of peek into my world. So I want to know, and I really want to make this interactive. I don't want this to be a sit and get. What I would love is for you to either on your phone or open up another tab and go to menti.com. And when you go to menti.com, I'm going to do this on my phone. You just type in menti.com. And it's going to bring it up, and I think you should be able to see it. It's going to look like this, and it's going to ask you for a code. And the code is on the screen. And if Marissa or Mars can drop that, the menti.com and the code in the chat, that would be awesome. We're going to do 5637162, and then just hit submit. And it's going to ask you a question. Ooh, we can see it. It's going to look like that, kind of. Forget it. But you'll see, it's going to say, what is going well with distance learning this new school year? Let's kind of put spring behind us and just focus on what's going well right now. And the great thing about Menti is I can take you right to the live results, and let's see what you have to say. So I want to know what's going well. And this is going to update in real time. Yay, thank you, Marissa. All right, being at home, more engagement, no rush in the morning. Yes, I would agree with that one. Time together, connections, innovation. I will tell you, one of my favorite things about distance learning is that I do feel more connected to what's going on in my boys' classrooms. I do have a better idea daily of what they're doing, and I get to have lunch with them. So that's kind of nice too. I get to have lunch. Access to different apps, meals together, coffee, always coffee, always coffee. And so this is our word cloud, and I'm going to let you keep generating this. It tells me how many people are participating. This doesn't go away, by the way, and we're going to take a picture, and Marissa can send this out, and Mars can send this out with some of the resources. We'll attach it, so that way you can have a copy too, because I think that it's always good to acknowledge what's going well. I mean, there's a lot that's going maybe not the way we want it to, right? Maybe there's a lot that's going not the way that we planned. Maybe there's a lot that's going, you know, we want it to be a little different, but that's okay. There's a lot that's going right, and I think there's a lot of silver linings. So I'm seeing a lot of having kids home and safe. I love that, and spending more time together. So again, I'm going to leave this open. You can keep adding to it, and thank you so much for participating in that. I'm going to minimize this really fast. Come back here. All right, so thank you so much. And it's also me not just presenting to a screen. I know you're out there. So there's a lot that's going okay, right? And we know we're back to school, but we're not back to business as usual. But we are learning skills. Our students are learning skills that maybe they would learn anyway, but maybe this is an opportunity for them to learn it in a different way. Definitely, I mean, we're in the 21st century already, right? It's 2020, we're 20 years in. But those 21st century skills we keep talking about. They're also learning about how to interact with other people online, that netiquette piece. They're learning how to participate in this digital world. For me and my family, we're also learning a lot of perseverance. And perseverance, I think, because life is challenging, whether it's a pandemic or not, we all have our challenges, right? Things aren't always the way, you know, it's not always happy, joy. Obviously, I have this happened this week, right? Sometimes things happen and we have to be able to persevere through them. So our students are learning this. For our parents and our caregivers, we're learning tech, right? We're learning how to troubleshoot tech. All of us are learning IT skills we never knew that we always needed, okay? We're learning patience. And I know, or that, again, that might just be a me thing, but I have learned so much patience. I learned. And again, like you mentioned in the Menti, we're really more involved, or at least we're able to be more involved in a way where we can really know so much more about what's actually happening in our students' classrooms instead of just hearing it secondhand. We're digging in because we have to. My kid's at the kitchen table doing his homework right now. So, you know, there's a lot there. And then as educators, for those of us that are educators and administrators in the room, we're learning about teaching in this online environment. We're learning about the power of collaboration between all of our stakeholders, collaborating with our parents, our counselors, our administrators, our family engagement network, how we can collaborate and work together to best support our students. And then also, again, patience and learning new ways of teaching. So even though we're not back to business as usual, there are these silver linings. And I think that everyone wants to go back to normal, but I don't know. I think there's things that we can take with us and lessons that we can learn that can definitely benefit us going forward. I still want to engage in this level with my kids. I don't want it to go back to that rush where I'm running home from work, dropping my stuff, grabbing his stuff, running to soccer, eating in the car, coming home, that life was our life for, 14 years. And now it's like, hit the brakes. Let's take a breath. Let's see what's going on. So I'm trying, For those of you that know me, I'm very optimistic. I try to always look at the positive side, and I think there's a lot of positives we can glean here. So let's start off with a little self-reflection and a little self-care on how you can do this, because you might be thinking, great, Laurel, I'm glad you're so optimistic. Wonderful, that's awesome for you. But I want you to know that even though you're behind the screen, you are doing a great job. You are doing a wonderful job. Yes, you. I am talking to every single one of you that is here, and I know that you're doing a great job. And how do I know that? You're sitting here with us today. You're coming to these family engagement summits. You're using your time and your energy, and that means that you care. And even if you can't be here today and you're watching this on a video later on, you're still taking the time to watch this out on a video. So I know, whether or not I know you, I know you're doing a great job. So how are you modeling this great job for your kids? So there's a couple of different techniques and some possible questions I just want you to ask yourself, because it's just like they say, and you've heard this a million times. It's like old now. You know, when you're on an airplane, they tell you to put your mask on first before you put on your child's. Well, now masks have taken like a totally different meaning, right? So I'm not going to use that analogy, but still we have to have, as our parents, we have to have that center, we have to have that grounding. And again, these are things I have to remind myself of every day too. And the self-reflection on how I'm doing, it helps me when I approach my kids and when I approach my son to ask him about his day, when I get a notification that he has a missing assignment, and I'm like, how could you have a missing assignment? So I have to like, whoa, hold on, Laurel. So first thing I want you to ask yourself is just what went well today? What went well for you today as a parent? What went well for you with you and your family? What went well for you as a caregiver? Just what is going well? And really try to steep yourself there. And what wins can you celebrate? Not every day is going to be the best day ever. We already know that. But what wins can we celebrate with our students today? Maybe for me, a win, we're up on time, we walked the dog, and my kids got some kind of breakfast, and they started school on time. Like, that's a huge win. Like, our morning worked. Yay, right? This one is a little bit, these next two, what are the must-dos that I have to do today as a parent, and what can I save for another day? My save for another day is laundry. Like, I can save that. My kids they just got to be dressed from like the waist up. You know, they just need a clean shirt. It's okay. Like, really, they can wear the same pair of gym shorts. You know, maybe not, but whatever. It's okay. As long as I have a clean shirt on, it's fine. How can you model this balance also? For me, this is probably the hardest one. I have the hardest one modeling balance and disconnecting. And sometimes I just need to stop what I'm doing, close my laptop, and just give my child that 5 minutes of undivided attention and listen to what he has to say. Even if I have no idea what he's talking about Rocket League, World Series. My son, he's telling me, he's like, he loves esports, he loves gaming, and he was telling me about this today, and I just was like typing, yeah. How hard would it have been for me just to stop 5 minutes and just like model that balance for him and just gave him my undivided attention? And it's great me thinking about that now. So now I can kind of keep that in my mind. So that wasn't a win for me today, but it's something I can work on for tomorrow. Creating a schedule, we're going to talk about that one coming up, something that's sustainable. I know you're not in charge of your students' like synchronous lessons and asynchronous lessons and your school schedule right now, like we were in the spring, but how can we make this our own schedule sustainable? And when should we check in? And finally, this is really important, parents, caregivers, everyone. It's important no matter who you are. Are you getting enough sleep, and are you drinking enough water? I'm going to go ahead and guess one of those is probably an area that you need to work on. For me, it's both. But sleep and water, that will help almost any situation. And I'm telling you, if you want more tips on parent self-care. I have an article that is linked in, and you'll get that in your resources at the end, and you can check it out. And it's very specifically focused to parents and parent self-care. You have to take care of yourself, because otherwise you're going to run yourself down, and then you're going to just you're going to wear out, and your kids need you. So it's important, and I'm working on it too. I only had 1 cup of coffee today. Sonal my colleague would be so proud of me. She knows I'm normally a little bit more than that. So let's talk a little bit about the scheduling that I mentioned on the slide before. So we might not have control over the schedule for our kiddos, right? I don't have any control over when my kids have to be logged on, what class they're going to when, and all of these things. But I can help in a lot of different ways. So, learning organization, how to prioritize, time management. Oh my gosh, I don't think I learned time management until I went away to college. And even then it was like me just like juggling in the dark. Like, how do I do this? How do I have this? I have to go to work, but after, time management is so important. So I'd like to think that my helping my kids, it always looks beautiful, right? So I pick 1 day a week, and we go through Google Classroom, and we look at the to-do list. And I know not everyone on here is using Google, but my kiddos are. But you can do this with anything. And usually it's on a Sunday, maybe a Monday night. And I go through and I see like, what are all of their upcoming assignments for the week? And I write it out. And you can see on the top here, this is a schedule. I have James on one side and Mason on the other. And then if there's anything for the following week, I write that out too. So we're kind of just going through, I'm like, hey, we got a quiz, we got all of these things happening. When is it due? And it helps me kind of organize them. And then we talk about strategies. So when do we want to study for this quiz? Well, what I realized is my 9th grader has no idea how to study, which is okay. I mean, he's just never been taught how to study. Normally they study for their tests in school. He's like, yeah, my teacher usually, we'll study together and we'll have the review, and then I take the test the next day. So I'm not only now like, helping him log in and do all these things. Now I'm teaching him how to study, and how I learned how to study might not be his style. So we're kind of working through it. I want to be 100% transparent here though. My top picture on this slide is not what it really looks like. This is what my first schedule really looks like. There it is. I just wrote it on a sticky note. Like, it's scratched out, and it's even on the wrong side of the sticky, if you can tell. So this is the first draft. And this is what I just kind of like wrote out, and then I made it like the nice draft, and then we had the check marks. But, as a mom, I didn't have time to sit down and write out the nice one first. I was like, I'll do that later. That's like the must do versus the want to do area. So it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be on the computer. It doesn't have to be like this gorgeous spreadsheet or anything like that. Like, it literally can be just written out on a piece of paper. It's just so then you can check in with your kids. But I would not be a digital learning project specialist if I did not have a little present for you. So I made these templates, and these are going to be available for you. They are in Google, but you can download them to PowerPoint. I want to show you what they look like and kind of walk you through them. Now listen, you can have these and use them if you want, or not. You can share them. You could forget it. It's up to you. But I want to show you what I did, because what I realized with my 9th grader is that I needed kind of 2 different planners for him. And I'm gonna come out of presentation mode just so I can show you what this looks like. So for James, he's my 9th grader, we filled this out. This was a couple of weeks ago, and we went through and we were like, let's just talk. And as we talked, we typed it in, but you could also print this if you wanted and write things in. I have a blank one that you can have. So, we went through all of his schedule, what went well, what were some struggles, does he have homework, what are his top priorities for this week and when does it have to be done by, and then any upcoming projects, quizzes, tests, and things like that. So we went through this together and it didn't take us that long, but I realized what a valuable time us sitting down and spending 10 minutes was to fill this out. And what I realized is that he's always really liked math, but now he's in high school and geometry is hard. There is a ton of work. The workload is intense, and it should be, right? It's a high school class. And so we came up with some strategies, but just talking to him, I could tell he was a little frustrated, but I didn't know about what. And now I could pinpoint it down, and you know, he loves math, so I want to support him in that area. So we went through, and this was the log that he and I filled out together. So let me show you what I made for you. So this is a secondary template that you're going to be able to have a copy of. You're welcome. Like I said, you can totally use this, take it, modify it, share it. It's all ready for you under my Creative Commons license, so please enjoy. But I realized that this wasn't going to be the only thing that you might need. This is also what James needs. He needs a daily planner. And that the other one is more of kind of like that big picture, that snapshot. So for the daily planner, this is just what I came up with. What were his top 3 needs for the day? And this might be physical needs, like the charger. Does he have his earbuds? Does he have his water? You know, is everything laid out? Does he have the books that he needs for the next day? What are his top 3 needs for Monday? What must he do that day? Like maybe he has some homework that's due that day, or whatever, his must-dos. And this could also be anything for the family as well. And then again, what homework is he assigned that day, and then when is it due? And then we have some activities outside of church that, you know, outside of school, like church, like other things, like I said, sports, and those right now are kind of all put on hold, but when they come back, you know, even if we go back in a hybrid system, this might get a little hectic. I'm imagining when/if we go back to hybrid, it's going to be even more busy. So I want to make sure that we can also chart the outside of school activities. And so this is for you. You can have this. And then at the end, I just have some ideas for must-dos, and, you know, how to study and fill in the planner, and just some little things at the bottom. For my elementary friends, I made a different form. So if you have elementary age kids, my nieces are in elementary school, and I talked to Marissa and my other friends that have elementary age children, and I really wanted to know what would work for you. Again, if this doesn't work for you, you can change it. There's nothing saying that you have to keep this, but I just wanted to give you something that could maybe help you. So if there's Zoom or Google Meet links, the times for the instruction and all of this, but also I know that our students have upcoming projects, small group time, and then also right here, communicating with the teacher. I think that this is really powerful for parents. If you can think of some of the positives you want to communicate to the teachers, also your concerns, and then what, when, and how are you going to communicate with the teacher. And I know these boxes are small, but again, you can go in and make them as big as you need. And I'm going to talk more about communication coming up. So this is all just scheduling. And oh, I love that, just popped up Joy. And these are just some sample templates for you if you'd like them. I need to go back into my presentation mode so then you can see the rest. Here we go. So moving on, I actually want to do another little check-in with Menti. So I guess I didn't have to go into presentation mode, but I want to know before we move on, what is going well with your with your scheduling? What's going well with your students and scheduling? So let me come back here, and I'm going to advance this slide. And it's the same code. and I want to know what's working well for you with your creating a schedule. I always feel like we're better together, and we can crowdsource as parents. We can work together, and I would love to hear what is working well for you. So you go to same thing, menti.com, same code. And this is, you're actually going to be able to type in a little bit more. So you're not limited to one word. So consistency, structure, planning, rewards, fun. Oh yeah, definitely. We'll see. Give you a second. So the same code, 5637162. And it should advance for you. So let's see, color coding. Oh yes. Oh, whoever put color coding, your person after my own heart. Routine, teaching high school students to use Google Calendar. Yes. You'll see this is gonna automatically scroll. Constant communication with my husband to plan our next day. Yes, my husband and I we have to be on the same page, right? Alexa announcements, checking Google, having some free time, planning for free time. Yes, yes. Sit with my child once a week, attending Zoom calls. I've sat in on a few. I wanted to check out a few. I can help him remember to finish his product. Yes, planners, 10 to 15-minute brain breaks. Brain breaks are so important. They're important for us as adults. They are definitely important for our kiddos. Praying, yes. Setting alarms. Oh, we have setting alarms. So many alarms going off in our house, right? Make sure you set an alarm, but it helps us. It helps us know when our we have to get back on. Oh, this is great. Thank you so much for participating in this. I love seeing all of this. Following through. That's a big one for me. I gotta say, I wasn't always great at following through before I was, in the next room with them. Incentives, mom of 4. Oh, bless you. Communication and patience. See, there is a lot going right. You're doing so much. And there's a lot that checklists are amazing. All right, you can keep adding to this. I'm going to come back here because I do want to share with you these affirmations. And I think these affirmations are really awesome. I did not make these up. I want to give credit where credit is due. This comes from Chafee Avid. So these are things I think that we can share with our kids, whether we share this poster, which you can get off of their Twitter, or you just write it out yourself and maybe come up with your own family affirmations. But the best I can do is my best. So we always try our best, right? I was having this conversation with my son the other day, and he's like, well, and I said, no, we always want to try our best. That is, we give our best, and that's the best we can do. My favorite one, though, here, I have to say, is the second one. How human of me to feel nervous about trying something new. How human. And I love acknowledging our humanity. I love that because we are all human. We are all in this together, and it's going to be okay. I will give myself the same grace I give others. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. But the one in green, I think, is the one I really struggle with, and I really am working on, and I know that we're working on this as a family. I may not be able to control this situation, but I have control over my attitude. And I say this all the time. This is not for forever. This is temporary. It's just for right now. And this is like I love this one too. I can do difficult things. I can do it. It might be hard, but I can do it. And I don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. And I'm going to make mistakes, but that's okay. So these affirmations, you could pick one of them, you could take all of them, but I just loved it so much, and I do want to give a big thank you to Chafee Avid for posting that. So let's move on to some communication. What can we do to increase communication? Because as you know, communication is key. in this situation, the parents and the teachers, we have to work together. We are two sides of the same coin. We have always been, needing to work together, but right now it's crucial. It is crucial that we do this. So I have a little story for you. It's called a Twitter story, a story of Twitter, which if you haven't recognized by now, I do love Twitter. I use it for work, and I have an amazing professional learning network that I collaborate with online. So I went online September 10th, and I asked, teachers that also happen to be parents, what's one piece of knowledge that you'd like your students' families to know, or you'd like to know? I asked it both ways. You only see the top one here. What would you like to know about your students' classes, their schedule? And I was like, yeah, serious answers only, please. And then I also asked vice versa. So what do you want to know about your own children's classes? And then what would you want to communicate to your students' families? And you can see on here, I highlighted, these aren't all the answers I got. I got a ton of answers, which I was really grateful for. But these actually really stood out for me. I kind of grouped them into themes. The first one was about Wi-Fi and tech issues. Who do you contact? And really, how can we get you some help on that? And I love this that Lori Walsh put. She's like, where can they get technical assistance that is beyond my skill level? Please know, parents, the teachers are trying to help you. They're learning it themselves as well. And teachers, vice versa. The parents are trying to help you, and they're learning it as well. We're all learning this tech. I always see this like little meme floating around Facebook. Like, my kid can log into Snapchat, but they can't get on Google Classroom. It's a funny meme, right? It's funny. But remember, we're also like expecting these kids not just to get onto an app, but also to learn and engage. And sometimes they have to have their camera on, and they have to demonstrate their learning. And just like the parents might be uncomfortable with this, and the teachers are uncomfortable with it, the kids are kind of caught in the middle, and they're uncomfortable with it too. So we're all kind of in this mishmash together. Andrea Aguirre, she put, what is the homework policy? And that is so important, because I know as a parent, I have 14 different homework policies that are happening for my kids, because they each have 7 teachers. So keeping track of that is huge for me as a mom. I don't always know, and I wrote it out on a piece of paper, but where did I stick that paper? Please, just how do we do this? What's the best way to reach the teacher? That's really, really important. And then how and where to turn things in. So I want to thank these teachers that participated in my Twitter chat and gave me some advice, because it gave me some ideas, because I know I was a teacher and a mom, and I know there's a lot of teachers out there that are also parents and caregivers. So sometimes we forget which hat we have on, and we have to remember that we're all wearing the same ones at the same time right now. So what did I learn from all of this? Well, number one, we need to increase information and decrease confusion. So if you're a teacher out here, these are the top 9 tips from Walden University on how they say you can make parents more involved and have more information and less confusion. Now for parents out there, and actually this is for everyone. I actually think that this works both ways. Like I said before, 2 sides of the same coin. So the first is being warm. Let's be friendly and approachable. Let's give each other grace, right? Whether you're the teacher to the parent or the parent to the teacher. But teachers, please make your parents feel valuable. We are trying. We are really trying. So include us in the conversation. Let us know we're valued and we're a valued member of the team. Being positive. This kind of goes both ways. We know the teachers are working hard. Teachers, parents are working hard. So let's just be positive about that. And let's acknowledge that involvement, and acknowledge the involvement we're doing at home. And we also acknowledge the involvement and the level that you're working. But we have to do this by fostering a sense of trust. I think the biggest one that is a little bit more teacher facing here is asking questions. Please ask questions of parents, but then listen to the answers. Because I know I've been in student study teams and other things with my kids, and I've had the greatest questions asked of me as a parent, but then I didn't really feel like I was being heard. So please work with the parents and listen to what they're telling you, because oftentimes when they're frustrated and they're reaching out to you, it's because they want to do what's right for their kids. So let's keep this communication going often. Let's not make assumptions. And I think that goes both ways. Let's not assume. And then please, for us as parents, teachers, please let us know the ways that we can reach you. What is the best way to reach you? Please, please, please tell us. And then let us know the guidelines. Let us know how you're going to get back to us. Should we set up a phone call? Should we send you a text on Remind? Or is it through Google Classroom? What's the best way for us to get a hold of you? Because we do want to communicate with you. And I think that that's really important. So I have a couple more resources here, that these resources can be used by teachers, and they can also be used by parents and families. So I'm going to show you them, and these are both from Common Sense Education. So I'm going to click on this link right here. And this is the cheat sheet. This is from Common Sense. And so this is actually, if you were a parent, you might want to go through this and you can say, okay, how do I contact the teacher? Where do I find the class links? Where are the assignments? And you could fill this in what you know, and then maybe contact the teacher for the parts that you don't know. I love these sentence starters here too, because I think they're really positive, and for weekly check-ins with the teacher. So if you are going to have a weekly check-in or every other week check-in with the teacher, you could fill in one of these sentences, and this would be a great way to set up your email or your text. My kid really loves, and let's acknowledge what's going right. I think that's really important. As you know, I'm always like, yes, let's find the silver lining. So let's acknowledge what's going right, and then we can address, but you know what, they're still struggling with trying to find where to turn your homework in. Can you walk me through that again? So this cheat sheet is available, and like I said, this is from Common Sense Education. I'm going to go ahead and show you the other one, which is right here. This one is actually created for for teachers, but parents could definitely use it as well. And you can see there's also some agreements and some other things here on Common Sense. But this one, for teachers, you could go through and fill this out, and this could actually be like a frequently asked questions that you could post in your classroom. So that way you can answer all of these different ways, and you can delete what you don't like. You know, and that way you can communicate this all to your parents. And parents, you can go through this as well and write in what you know, and then you know what questions to still ask of the teacher as well. So for some example, you know, how can I contact you? How can my kid contact you? That's a really, really important one. And it gives you some hints as a teacher, you know, use one method that's best so nothing falls through the cracks. Don't say, you know, remind and email and this and that. Like, pick whatever is the best way to communicate with you and let the parents know that way. And then down here at the bottom, it also has for students. And this is where the teachers can communicate with their students. What happens if I'm absent? That's a huge question. My son had a migraine last week, and I think it's from screen time. And I really didn't know the protocol. I didn't know, I didn't know, should I email all of my son's teachers, or should I just call the office and they'll take care of it? Or I didn't really know what to do. So I called the office and they helped me, but I didn't really know the protocol. So that's something that we want to really make sure that that's really clear here. So we can, again, you can use this if you're a teacher or if you're a parent. They're completely free, and they're available, and everything is linked in here for you. So what about increasing communication with our kiddos, with our students, our children? I don't know about you, but sometimes I ask my son, sometimes I won't see them all day, even though we're in the same house, because I'm in here working in my office and they're doing their school things and our breaks don't line up. I really love it when we have lunch together, but it's not always possible. So sometimes I ask them about their day, and I'm like, hey, James, how was your day today? He's like, fine. Well, how did it go? How are your classes? Good. Oh, okay. What's happening? And I just want to talk to him and hear about his day. And that would have happened whether we were on distance learning or not. I mean, let's face it, he's a teenager, right? So I created this dice game, and this is just some really easy ways that we can talk to our kids about what's happening. And all you need is a die. You can use it. I grabbed one from our old Monopoly game. You can even make it out of paper. And so you just roll it. There's digital ones too, by the way. If you want a digital dice, you can have one of those. So, I just thought this would be a fun and easy little game that you could play. You could pass around the dice and everyone could ask a different questions, like what's something that's awesome that happened today? What made you smile today? What did you do to help someone today? Because I know that they're helping each other in these digital classrooms as well. What was the funniest thing that someone said in class today? But I really like number 5. What do you wish you had said or have been asked in class today? And I think that that's a really powerful question. And then, as always, expressing gratitude. What are you grateful for today? And this can be school facing or not. And they don't have to be these questions. I have this game linked in. You can have a PDF of this game, but there's so many more. There's grade level questions here, and this is going to be linked in your resources from parents.com. They don't always have to be school questions. You could have any question you want. You could have fun questions, serious questions, just question starters to really just get that communication going with your students, with your kiddos, and get that dialogue going. And then once that dialogue is going, maybe you can learn more about how they're feeling about school, because we know that there is a lot. This is a lot. It's a lot for my kids, and they're older. For those littles, my heart goes out to you parents that have the little kids going through this. So just another little tip or trick for you there. But while we're on the topic of kids, I want to bring up their role in distance learning, because we are not in this journey alone. It's not just teachers and parents and caregivers, right? Like, what's in the middle of the coin? We said 2 sides of the same coin. Well, what's the coin? Well, the coin is our kiddo, and our students have responsibilities in this distance learning as well. So, we want to make sure that we honor that, because like I told my son the other day, I was like, I already went to school. I already went to 9th grade. Okay, great. It's your turn now. What are your responsibilities? So I just loved this quote from Barbara McCombs. She is a professor at the University of Denver. And I'm going to read it to you. Normally, I wouldn't read you a quote off the screen, but I just think this is so powerful. She says, when students understand their role as agent, they're the one in charge over their own feeling, thinking, and learning behaviors. They're more likely to take responsibility for their learning. When students feel a sense of ownership, they want to engage in academic tasks and persist in learning. Our students have to know that they are the ones that are in control of how they feel, how they think, and how they learn. And this can happen even with our little ones, right? They can start taking ownership of how they approach school, whether they are in the classroom. That's expected, right? We expect them to go to school and participate and do their work and go out to PE and have recess and do all those things. We expect them to do that, but we have to also give them license to participate and take control of their learning in the online environment as well. My niece is in kindergarten, and I was on the phone with my sister, and I could hear my niece in the background, and she's like, oh, she wants to talk to you. I'm like, okay. So she gets on the phone in her cute little kindergarten voice, and she was telling me all about the meetings that she had that day. But right now she's on recess. And so she's going to go and she's going to take her brain break, and she is going to go play with her Legos. So she hopes I have a wonderful day, and she can talk to me when recess is over. And I just love that, because I mean, she's in kindergarten and she's talking about all of these things, but she's still engaging and she's still taking control. Now, I'm not overselling it. She's still the one that's over dancing during our class, right? But it was just really exciting to hear her just go through that. And my sister's like, yeah, she knows when it's time for recess. She knows when it's time for brain breaks, and really getting her involved in that schedule and also why that schedule is important. Now, on the right side of this is something from one of my favorite educators. Her name is Allison Yang, and she teaches school and has an amazing blog, which is LinkedIn. She teaches at an online school in Thailand. And she has this method called the Oreo method. And I love teaching about Oreo to teachers, about how to do online structures. There's a whole Oreo for parents. But what I really want to focus on today is the Oreo responsibilities for students, because we really need our students to, number one, know their objective. And their learning objective is so crucial. Why are they in that class? What are they doing? What are they learning? And if they don't know, we need to empower our kids to ask their teacher. This is hard even for the older kids, let me tell you. I was talking to my son the other day, and I'm like, so what are you doing right now? What is this homework? And he's like, I don't really know. I said, well, why don't send your teacher a message, send her a private message on Google Classroom. He's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, yes, send her a message. Let's get clarification. Where are the directions? And I'm going on and on and on. And then I realized, whoa, Laurel, hold on. He needs to do this. He needs to take the initiative here. And if he doesn't, this is a learning lesson for him. Now, if he was younger, of course, I would definitely step in and help there. But for right now, I want him to be able to know that he needs to ask if he's not sure what he's learning and why he's learning it. As always, we want our students to complete their assignments to the best of their ability, right? Whether they're in the classroom or they're at home with us, we want them to try their best. And that way we can really assess what help they need. And I think our kiddos have to know that. They have to know you have to do your best, because otherwise we can't help you. We don't know where you're at. And we really do need to empower our students to monitor their own learning, to set goals, to set these targets. What are they working toward? We don't want them just to go sit at a computer all day long. What's their goal for this? And the biggest thing, and I mentioned this at the beginning, is learning how to organize their time, working with you, but also creating a schedule that works for them too. Maybe that is setting, 75 alarms on their phone, or if they don't have a phone we use the microwave also, and we have beeping and noises going off all over the place, and that's okay. So really empowering our students to really say, look, you're the one in school. You are the one that is here, and you are also responsible for this. You're responsible for your learning. I will support you. Your teacher will teach you. We are all going to work together. So let's think of a way that's going to be the best way for you to learn, even though this isn't the situation that we want to be in. Some things to keep in mind, and I did mention earlier that my son had a migraine last week, which really kind of brought this to mind for me. And Marissa and I actually talked about this quite a bit. Our kids also need a break. We do too. Like, we're on screens a lot. We're on a screen right now. Zoom exhaustion is real. We all might need a digital recess. And I think that it's really, really important to know that when you're on and you're on camera, there are things going on that really just zap you of energy, and our kids are being zapped, and it creates anxiety. It creates, the blue light from the screens can also interrupt sleeping patterns. There's so much going on here. So I have some top tips here to help with Zoom exhaustion. I have the full article in the resources as well. One of the tips that I didn't know this, but the reason why people get so tired is because when you have your camera on and everyone has their cameras on, and you can see a whole bunch of people, what we're doing is we're actually looking for social cues, because as our human beings, we're constantly looking at and taking in social cues from the people around us, our environment, everything. We're very visual creatures. We're visual and we're auditory. So when we're in this Zoom environment, we're constantly scanning to see, and also it's a little quieting to our brains to see ourselves constantly. We're constantly self-monitoring. So it gets to be a very exhausting in our brain to go through, and we're constantly looking for these clues. Another thing that can really help with Zoom exhaustion, oh, well, let me tell you the trick for that other one. Speaker view only. And you can just turn it to where you only see one screen, and that's the speaker. So that way you're not seeing yourself, even though you might still be on camera, you're only seeing the speaker, and so you're only focusing and looking for those cues from one person. So that actually will decrease in that mental exhaustion. So that's a tip that you might want to work with your students. Sometimes that's not possible, but it is a tip that they add in there. Having good posture. My older son works at the kitchen table. That's the place he needs to be. My other son works in the desk in his room. Very different environments. And I notice that sometimes they're slouching or they're leaning or things like that. But good posture can also help with Zoom exhaustion, and getting some natural light in can also as well. My younger son likes his room like a cave. And I'm like, come on, sweetie, you need some natural light. Like your body needs that natural light, your eyes, your brain, everything. So natural light if possible, or having those brain breaks and going outside and just get outside into the natural light, especially, watch the weather and making sure it's not too smoky and all of that stuff. Taking frequent screen breaks, checking the brightness on the monitor. This is huge. And making sure that the brightness on the monitor is it's set to a level that's going to be comfortable. If you can always buy, I have the blue blocker glasses, you can probably see the reflection, but this has been an eye saver for me, and you can get them so cheap now. I think I bought a pair on Zenny for like $5. They're not prescription, they just have the blue block lens. But not everyone can go out and buy glasses. I get that. So check the brightness. That might be a place just to start. And as I mentioned before, hydrate, drink your water, get lots of sleep, and then also check the position of the screen, how far away you're sitting, how close you are, and just finding a comfortable spot. And this might take a few different times to go through and to try to figure it out. So how else can we help our students? And this is a big one, is online netiquette. And this is still part of that communication section. Our kids don't know what they don't know. I mean, they just don't have the life experience. Even the older kids, they don't have the life experience of going to school solely online. And even when they do go to a hybrid model, if they do, I don't know, how many of them have ever gone in a hybrid model before? I mean, it's just so new to us all. So we want to make sure that we help our kids figure this out, because they don't know what they don't know. And I know teachers go through and they teach this, but I think it has to be a two-pronged effort. It needs to come from home and also from the classroom. I know for a fact my kids didn't know that all caps meant you're yelling. And I put it in both here, yelling and yelling, right? So, that's an easy little netiquette thing to talk about. The chat feature is not for chatting. It's for asking and answering questions. And I know sometimes the kids take this to a different level and the teachers have to step in. So, the chat feature, chat is, I think, a little bit of a misleading term there, but we can work with our kiddos on how to appropriately ask questions there. This is a big one. Think before you type. How many times have we as adults sent a text that the other person got and they were like, what? And the intention, it's missed, right? Or we've sent an email and it's taken a totally different way than the way that we intended it. So we really need to really talk to our kids about think before we type. Kindness matters, and not everything sounds the way we mean it when we type it. We really should think it through, and it's okay to check things before we send it. I know I often will write an email, walk away, come back, and then reread it and double check it just to make sure. It's like, is this what I really want to say? really, really talk to our kids that, you know, even though you're online, you're still in school. It is your responsibility to learn. And what we talked about earlier with the Oreo. Huge. Everything online is public. School is now public in our homes, right? We are privy to the classes, and the classes are privy to our home life. So everything is out there, and we want to make sure that we also express to our students. It would be very easy for the teachers to show us what you're doing, and for us to talk to your teachers about what you're doing at home. So we want to make sure that we just are explaining that this isn't now our homes are opened up to your classes, and for better or worse, and the classes are opened up to our homes. So everything online is public, everything is out there, and it doesn't go away just because you delete something. And I think this is an important one too. Remember that there's people on the other side of the screen, right? And teachers are people too, and this is hard. So even though it doesn't feel like there's people out there, people are on the other side, and they're in the same situation as us. So these are just some ideas that you can talk to your kiddos about. I love this netiquette poster. This is actually from Arizona State University, but I think it's such a powerful tool because it does go through the do's, what you should do and what you could avoid doing. And so while this is a little bit more school facing, I also think it's something that you could talk about with your kids at home, and teachers, you certainly could use this as well. And I think it's a great place to start, and it's completely adaptable. So it's another resource that you can check out. But not last, but almost last, but not least, please don't forget to schedule in fun for your family. This is really important. Take those brain breaks. Give yourself and your family something to look forward to. And this does not have to cost a lot of money. This can definitely be something that is free. All it costs is your time. So I put in here some things to look forward to, some extra fun screen time, even though we might want to, really balance that. Going for a walk, a bike ride. We have beautiful parks in San Bernardino County. So, and you can go to the park. They're free. Our regional parks, I think, are $10 to get into for the day. And we have a really beautiful area. And I think we can enjoy that outdoor space when it's not too smoky or hot. Just anything that you can motivate, anything you can look forward to as a family. Some other things that you can do, maybe some family traditions you can teach your kids, or recipes, family recipes that you want to share. And I encourage my boys, I tell them, well, I don't encourage them, I tell them that they need to call their grandmas once a week. Call your grandma, call a relative, call anybody once a week. It doesn't have to be on Zoom. It can be a good old-fashioned phone call. Just call and check in. And if they don't answer, leave them a voicemail and let them know that you called. That's such a powerful way to connect. Or you could go even more old-fashioned and just have them write a little letter and drop it in the mail, right? How fun is it to get mail that isn't like a bill or, whatever junk mail we get in the mail? It would be so nice to get a little handwritten note. And just remember, going back, we can find ways that we can enjoy this time that we are being forced to take. I know things are kind of opening back up, but still, I know we're all being cautious. We have done a lot of projects around my house, cleaning out the closets, cleaning out the dresser drawers. Oh my gosh. We had huge bags of clothes that we were able to take to their little cousins to share. And we can make it fun, or we could just be glad that that chore is done. I know last week I reorganized my closet, and now when I go in my closet, I can actually find everything. But those are things that, definitely would be put off. Maybe that's not fun, but, there's lots of things we can do together that don't cost a lot of money, but we can enjoy this time. Oh, looking at family photos, that's a really great way just to share those memories and have those laughs. And I know once we open up our photo books or just let's be real, start scrolling through pictures on my phone, then, you know, it's a really just a fun time we can, and a nice break. So I do want to share, we have more family resources. We have this distance learning resource hub that my colleague Sonal Patel and I put together in addition with the SBCSS family. Everyone in the county pitched in to create this distance learning resource hub. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. This link is going to take you directly to our family resources page. And there are a ton of resources out there. I know our Footsteps to Brilliance program in San Bernardino County is free. And if you're not familiar with Footsteps to Brilliance, it's a great reading and literacy program, and it's all gamified, and it's free for all of our kids in San Bernardino County. But you can scroll through here. There's tons of resources for you as the parents. You can check it out and see what we have here for you. I don't want to keep you just there though. You are welcome to explore anything and everything in our distance learning resource hub. This is entirely open to whoever would like to look at it. If you want, maybe your kids are using Google in their classroom, maybe you want to go into the Google section. You can find out all sorts of things about Google and Google Classroom, and maybe you just want to find out more. It's all listed here. The same thing for Microsoft. And you can come in and you can look at the Microsoft for Education, and you can see all of these things. And these are not just for teachers. They're definitely great resources the parents can use as well. So just wanted to show you that we have this resource and everything is free on here for you. And this is our last but not least. Please, please, please don't forget, and this is good for you, for your self-care as a parent, and it's good for our kids. It's good for the whole family. We've got to get that exercise in. I kept talking about sleep and I kept talking about hydration, but it's really, really, really important that we talk to our kids about their physical health as well. I know they have PE through school, but the CDC guidelines are that our kiddos should be getting 60 minutes of activity per day. And on top of that, 3 days a week, they should be doing strengthening activities, and 3 days a week, they should be doing muscle building activities. And so you can see what counts. And these are things that we can do together as a family to just increase that activity, get off of our screens, get our heart rates up, and we can do them all together. Now, I do have some online resources here for you for some activities, but there's a whole list of like what counts for what. You know, brisk walking, that will count to get the heart rate up. Running, going outside and playing tag. Sports, I know sports are very limited right now, but dancing, maybe if you have like a Just Dance or something like that, or just turn on some music in your kitchen and dance while you're making dinner. I don't know. That's what I do. And then of course, yard work does count as physical activity. So if you have a yard, you can get out there and with your kiddos, and that will count as getting some physical activity. I know that's my kids' favorite. If they're watching this, I know they're like, no way, Mom, no way. But let me show you a few resources to help you get your kids moving. If you don't know about Go Noodle, it is awesome. It is awesome. They have all of these fun games. It's free. You can go to Go Noodle Games. They also have everything in Spanish as well, and you can click on these. It's also, you can download them on the App Store, and you could do like these bubble pops and other things. So they might be on a screen, but it's still getting the movement going. It's a lot of fun. And they also have good energy for grown-ups. Let me take you there. So they talk about the featured activity, and you can play the video and then you can see it and do it along together. So there's a lot of amazing, free, fun activities out there, and Go Noodle is a great place to start. There is also Open, which this is the online physical education network. And there are a ton of tools here that you can use for active at home. And so they have instant elementary activities. They have ball handling and dribbling skills for the littles. And they even have the little ones, early childhood, ages 3 to 5, manipulative skills and locomotor skills. They have so many, I mean, this is a great resource. You could totally just get lost in it, but they have all of these things that you can do at home and that your kids can do. I love the Kids Heart Challenge. And they have the jump roping, the basketball, and all of these different activities that you can do with your kids. So that's open. And then I have even more virtual links here. And this is from We Are Teachers. And this is our best online PE. And you can see they have Cosmic Kids Yoga, the Body Coach, the Kid Coach, and you can go to any of these and check them out as well. Now, I know we want to keep our kids off the screens if we can, but if you are not a PE teacher, and I certainly am not, this is a great way that you can do physical activity with your kiddos. So let's talk about resources, because I am just about at the end of my presentation and I wanted to leave a little bit of time for Q&A, but I have resources for you. So this is how the resource center is set up. On the left-hand side is the descriptor. So it tells you, and it goes in order of the presentation. So it's going to how to reach me, how to reach our digital learning services team. And then it's going to go into the parent self-care and all of these. And so all you have to do is click on the link and it will take you directly to the different articles that I mentioned, the different places that you can go to get that information. So on the right-hand side are the links, on the left-hand side are the descriptions. So this is a lot of resources, but wait, there's more. So here are even more. I do want to show you an amazing opportunity that's also coming up. I talked to you about Common Sense Education, but they are having a series of webinars that are just for our area. It's called the Virtual Learning Series, Fall 2020, and they have all of these different webinars that you can go to, and the dates that are there coming up, and some more for families here. And these are all from Common Sense Media. They are all free. And so I wanted to share that with you, and that is linked in as well if you want more information as we go through all of this distance learning. So there's even more webinars you can attend, yay. And then finally, here we are at the end, and this is the link, and I'm sure Marissa and Mars have probably already dropped this in the chat. If not, I will make sure we put it in the chat. But I just want to thank you for having me here today, and I definitely wanted to save some time for Q&A. I'm gonna leave this up. In fact, let me grab this right now. I'm gonna grab this link and show you. This is what it's gonna look like when you open it up, and it's gonna have all of the resources for you. It's kind of like a one-pager, a one-stop shopping, if you will, for all of the resources. So you have them all for you. So I will put that in the chat. And Marissa, Mars, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we can do the Q&A, or if you want me to keep my screen up, however you would like me to do it.
I think because we are engaging in technology, we can actually leave you sharing. So in case you want to address any of the links. Thank you, Laurel. Please join me in thanking our wonderful keynote speaker today for just a wealth amount of knowledge, resources that you brought to us. I think Mars is still typing away and trying to include all the links. So if you have not yet seen the chat box, Mars has been very busy adding all of our links. So how are you doing, Mars? I can see.
I'm trying to keep up with Laurel. I don't know how Daniel's doing it with interpretation, but with Laurel with all her links, and then we got folks asking. So I've been dropping them in the chat. So
oh my gosh, yes. I have them all for them right here too. So let me go back to my original handbook because I want to grab this. I want to make sure.
And I want to share that particular link has already been added. So both Mars and myself had added. So if you look in the chat box, I can actually add it again. It's the latest link that just came up. I do want to be transparent and honest that it's at this point, the link, it's only in English.
Yes.
We will work hard to provide this as well in Spanish. So just know that this is a gift that Laurel put together as we asked her to be a keynote speaker. So thank you, Laurel, because not only did you prepare for today's session, but you also took the time to design this booklet specifically for our families and community today. So thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely.
We
It's
will
my
work
pleasure.
hard. Thank you. And we will work hard to get it in Spanish. That was one of the first questions that kept on popping up. Will this be available? And is it available in Spanish? So I wanted to start with that. But
Yes,
go ahead
we'll
and
make that happen.
share with us what you were going to do that I actually interrupted you.
Oh no, I grabbed the link and it's in here. So yes, we will make sure that everything is available in English and in Spanish. And we want to make sure that you have it all. So you have this little handy dandy resource link, and you can go through and click on it. And I want to make sure that, you know, any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am happy to help. Send me an email, send me a direct message on Twitter. You know how I feel about Twitter. But please don't hesitate to reach out. I will do anything and everything I can to help. And thank you for letting me share about my family and my experience with distance learning as a parent and also a working mom. And this has been a lot of fun. I hope I hope it's been helpful.
It has been great help. How do you feel, Mars? Has it been helpful to you as a also principal / teacher, working parent?
You know what, Laurel, you did an amazing job today. I think, you know, when it comes to technology, it's especially, you know, our generation, even though I embrace it and I get on it a lot, there's still so much to learn. And so like today, when you went through all these resources, many people were in the chat asking like, how do I get here? How do I get there? And obviously it's just navigating and not being scared to hit different links to get on, right? And so that's what I was doing as you were talking. Like I was actually on your shared page, hitting the links and then putting them in the chat just so people could have them. Now I know some people can't access the chat if they're on a cell phone or a different device. So what we will do, just to remind our audience, is that we will be gracious enough to also email all our participants through that registered through OMS. So if you came in through the link today, you may not get it like through the Zoom link. But if you did register through our OMS, we do have your email address. And I think we may have the email address through Zoom because I think the Zoom is asking individuals to log in and put their email address. So I think we'll be able to take that data and the data from OMS and push that out in an email that will be able to send the links that Laurel has been able to do, along with our other keynote speakers that were here on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I just want to make sure our audience knows that we will do the best we can to make sure that we give access as many ways possible to all our attendees, so that if they don't see it in the chat, it'll be on our webpage. If they don't see it on the webpage, we'll try to put it in an email as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
and I saw in the chat that there was a couple questions about the resources. So yes, you don't actually have access to the entire booklet, but you do have a resources for all. You have all of the resources links for every single page. So you're basically getting the whole booklet, but you're getting all of those resources. And so if you're clicking on the tabs and expecting the tabs to move, I'm putting it in the chat right now. Basically what you can use the arrow keys, or you can just kind of hit return tab back and forth, and that'll help. I use my arrow keys and that'll take me through. So these are all of the resources. Not that I don't want you to have the presentation, it just hadn't been translated yet. So I thought at least having the links would be the best way to at least get you something for today. So you can go through and you can click on all of these links and it'll take you through all of the goodies for you.
thank you. And Laurel, I do have another question, but I want to acknowledge also a comment that just came in from somebody that Mars might know very well. It says, this information is going to be helpful, ensuring our students and families are supported throughout this distance learning. Marissa Serna, my colleague Mars's wife. So absolutely, I want to echo her sentiment because this is helpful as an educator. Marissa is an educator, but it's also helpful as a mom, as a dad, and Marissa is a mom. I'm a mom, Mars is a dad. Robin is a mom. So we're all taking notes. Alma is probably as well, typing and taking notes. So with that said, one of the questions that came in, And I invite our participants to type questions if they
Please,
have
yeah.
questions at this point. But one of the questions that came in from both parents and educators is, can we share this with other parents? And I know you made this gift for us, but I know there was a message you wanted to share as in how to share it with others. So can you
Oh,
give us more details about that?
yes, absolutely. So please share it. Please share. This sharing is caring. We are truly, truly better together. Like, we parents, we got to stick together. Parents, caregivers, like teach, like we're all in this together. So please share away. Like there is nothing that is not shareable here. I'll show you for those templates that I made. So it's going to ask, if you don't have a Google account, you might want to create a free Gmail account, because these are the templates. When I click on this link, it's going to say, would you like to make a copy of this document? And I did this on purpose because I wanted you to have your own copy, and that way you don't have to worry about like the master. So when I make a copy, this is going to go into your Google Drive, and it will say up here, copy of WAG. WAG means week at a glance. I forgot to say that earlier, but that's what WAG means. My colleague, Courtney Cullen, in my former district, she used WAG, and I just loved that little acronym. I thought it was fun. Anyways, but so now it's a copy. Now this is going to be your own copy. So you can go in, you can type, you could change the colors, you can do whatever you want. This is now your copy for your family. You do what you want, and you can file it. You can, if you want to download it as a Microsoft Word. If you prefer Microsoft Word, you can do that as well. So this is completely for you. And that's why I kind of forced a copy. You can rename it. You can go in and you can, you know, just put like your kid's name. I'll put, you know, JR. And whatever you want to do. Now this is yours. So, and I got there straight from this link. And then you have your own copies of everything. The same thing will happen for these little the cheat sheets and the guides. When I click on this link, it's going to take me here. If you request edit access, because this is their master copy from Common Sense, you'll have to wait forever. If you just go to File, Make a Copy, it'll do the exact same thing, and then it's going to make a copy of it for you. And then the one it opens will be yours to keep, and you don't have to request any access. Now you can type in it, you can rename it, you can do whatever you want, and it's your copy to keep, and those are free from Common Sense. So it's the same kind of thing. For if it's asking for access, I can double check on that for the elementary. It should ask you for I'll go in and double check that access link for you, but it should be asking you to make a copy. But sometimes little things happen, you know how it is. Technology. So we always say. And the other thing that Mars said earlier is so true. You can't break the internet, right? So you can get in there, you can check things, you can try things with your students. I encourage you to go in there. Please, please, please don't shy away from going to our resources for SBCSS. That's this link right here. This is for everyone. You don't have to worry. You can go on any aspect of this. Like I mentioned, this is not just for teachers. This is for families. You don't have to stay in the family resources section. You can go anywhere you want, and you can find out more about anything you want to find out about that we have on here. So hopefully that helps as well.
Laurel?
Yes.
In the chat, it's saying that the elementary WAG is asking to request access. Is there something that we may be doing wrong, or?
No, I'm going to come out of sharing my screen right now and just double check on that. Let me just open up my drive. You know, we do things in real time here. So I'm going to just make sure if we need to do that. Let me go through.
So one of the comments says, I'm a little confused. I used the link for today's gift, and I am only able to access the last page of resources. They should be able to tap backwards to the first page.
They should be able to get all of, yes, they can arrow back to to all of the resources. So just use the arrow key, and that should allow them to do that. Let me make sure. See, it says anyone with link. So let me copy this link. Should work.
So I think part of the confusion too, Laurel, is, you know, you had your personal presentation that you showed us. And then I think there was a resources for our attendees. And that does look a little different than what you presented today. And so can you clarify that for our attendees?
Yeah, so I was trying to make it so we had a little bit more time for translation. Let me put the elementary link in here. So this one should give you, it doesn't look pretty, but that's the elementary week at a glance. But here for the resources for, let me just go in and double check as always. We have, yeah, I'm getting a lot of requests to views. Try the, the link.
I don't think you'll be getting any sleep today.
That's
because
okay.
the requests will be coming in. But thank
That's
you
all
so
right.
much. Thank you so much for your questions. And
yes, absolutely.
Laurel, thank you for working on it immediately to make sure that our participants have access.
Yes, no, it's absolutely my pleasure. And yeah, you should be getting 4 slides. So if I share my screen again, you should be getting, and this is going to show everything here. Here we go. You should be getting these slides that looks like this. And these have all of the resources. So I'm going to open up the week at a glance here. And if you're not getting this screen, I'm not sure why, but that's okay. This is what we call #TechGrit, right? And there's always something, and this is where I tell my kids, I tell teachers that I work with, I tell everyone, I'm like, you know what, it's okay. Things are gonna happen and it's not gonna be perfect, and we can just roll with it, and I'll fix it, or you'll fix it, or they'll fix it. And that's just part of that perseverance, and it's part of just having that positive attitude, and it's part of just, you know, going through it, and it's okay. So I will fix it, and I will make sure everything is done for you, and it's gonna be okay, I promise.
And those of you who are watching us, and if you're seeing the recorded session afterwards, we will add the link below the presentation, so you will have access to all of the documents that we are mentioning. And we'll make sure that it's easy accessible to you, as well as eventually the Spanish version will be added there. As you know, we are archiving all of our presentations and the handouts that our presenters are providing. So please join me again in thanking Laurel for her time, for her wisdom, her passion, not only for technology, for family engagement, but also for all children so they can have a successful year. So thank you again, Laurel.
My pleasure. I am going to share this actually through the bit.ly. I'm going to make one really fast because it's going to make me crazy if we leave this session and I don't have it for everyone. So I'm going to just go in here and do this really fast. Actually, I'm just going to share this link. So let's try this, because, and then just make sure you make your own copy of it. That would be my only thing, is just please make a copy, because otherwise everyone will be editing the same one. And I know we can go in and we can go and change this to copy, which is what I did earlier, but we'll try it one more time. Either way, that's life, right? You know how it is, the good, the bad, the links that don't work, all of the above. But we're nothing if not flexible, so.
Thank you, Laurel. Any words, Mars, as we conclude our keynote for today?
No, Laurel, thank you for bringing your wisdom, as Marissa said. And it looks like they're still having access issues. And I know what it is. It's sometimes our Google Suite is a little challenging, to say the least. So our county office has its own Google Suite. And sometimes it takes a minute for it it delays for it to allow others to get on. So bear with us.
Yes. bear with
As
me. I
Laurel
will
said,
go
give us
in.
grace.
Yeah, I'll go in and I'll double check it. You know, normally if you're outside, it might give you a little link. But if you're requesting access, I'm gonna give you access. So don't even worry. You will get access. No worries.
Thank you. And I do
Laurel,
want to announce that tomorrow, Laurel will have another session. So as a follow-up from today, we can talk technology all week, all month long. And you can talk to me technology all year long. I will still struggle with it. Mars is my witness. We've only known each other for over a decade and I still struggle with it. Alma is my angel. She stands next to me and all of a sudden the technology works. Somehow she just magically makes it work. Same as my husband. I have to say I have great technology angels. So thank you again, Laurel. If you have any questions, you know how to access her. We do want to honor our time with you today, families and friends. So we want to remind you that we have breakout sessions that are available to you today, right after our session. And there's the link that you can actually click on and make sure that we access. Mars, Almita, and Robin, any last words to our keynote speaker before we conclude our session?
looks like Robin said thank you. You can unmute yourself, Robin, I think, but thank you. So there you go.
That happened to me yesterday. I couldn't unmute. That's technology.
That is so weird.
That is. Thank you, Robin.
That is technology for sure.
Yes.
And she's a co-host. I see right here, she's a co-host. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
We do have a wonderful ghost that's taking our audio at the end of the sessions. It happened to me yesterday. I'm a witness. But
Yes.
thank you, Laurel, for bringing your wisdom. Mars or Alma, would you like to share anything?
Thank you for a wonderful presentation, and I think all the parents were so excited to have all these little tricks that they can use, and I mean, it's just wonderful. Thank you so much
For having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Laurel, thank you. And then for attendees, just a reminder, everything is live, Marisa. So I checked the page and all the breakouts are live now. And then tomorrow, Laurel's presentation will be up as well for those that missed.
So we do have all the presentations that you see on the screen live. We have Parent Engagement at the Age of Black Lives Matters by Nikki, Nikki Detman. My screen went blank. College Planning, Sergio Gonzalez from Sally Mae. We have Achieving Equity in the IEP Meeting, Strategies for Parents from Paul Olmo. Servicios Consulares y Programas Comunitarios del Consulado. These are Spanish sessions from our Mexican consul office, providing information on how to support families through their services. Paternidad durante una pandemia, parenting during a pandemic, from our experts in the field, our internal SBCSS mental health department. Introducción a las aplicaciones de estudiantes, las aplicaciones que están utilizando durante el aprendizaje a distancia. So here's a Spanish follow-up session that our Spanish-speaking parents can attend and listen to from our Laura Diaz and Maria Valencia Cabe experts. Leading and learning through the Community Engagement Initiative from our internal great partners, Ontario Montclair School District. Lisette Diaz, the Director of English Learners Programs, will be talking about the great initiative of family engagement and community partnerships at Ontario Montclair and how they've grown during the last years around the area of partnership work. They will talk about our statewide community engagement initiative. And if you are a district administrator and you want to learn how to engage your communities in these times, this is a great session to attend. They will also provide information on how to join this statewide initiative. So feel free to visit it today or another day. And then last but not least, I know this one was one that a lot of people were reaching out, that it was not live yesterday. I believe it's live now, The Role of a Liaison in Connecting School Staff, Family, and Community by Tony Hernandez. So please visit our site. Also, Mars put in the chat the link for tomorrow's keynote session. Make sure you check it out. You click on it and you save it so you can join us tomorrow. who is our wonderful one and only Michael McCormick, Superintendent of Valverde Unified School District. We had the honor last year to visit his district, and there were great initiatives. And just like we started this session today, in order for you to have a powerful family and community engagement program, service, you need great leadership leading that effort. And so tomorrow, Superintendent McCormick will talk about what has he put in place and how is he building his partnership programs and efforts in Valverde Unified School District. So please join us. It's from 3 to 5. Please tell a friend, call a friend, send the link to a friend, because we want to make sure that more families, staff, and community partners join the conversation and support more children across our different counties. Last but not least, our team really wants to thank you for your partnership, for your time. We know you're busy. We appreciate you for your time, whether you're at work or you're just leaving work or you're about to cook dinner. If you're a teacher and you've had enough Zoom meetings throughout the day and you still join by phone to listen in, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you here tomorrow for our culminating event. And I'm gonna now toss it again to our colleagues so we can say a formal hasta la vista. We'll see you tomorrow. And don't forget to share this information with all of your families and communities. Mars, Robin, or Alma, and of course, Laurel, any words to our participants?
No, just thank you for coming. I finally got my mute working, and appreciate everything you shared, Laurel.
Oh, thank you so much. And please, for those of you that are struggling with accessing any of the links, check it again. I will refresh everything and double check it, but Marissa and Mars and everyone will have everything for you. So, and if you have any trouble at all, please don't hesitate. Reach out, send me an email. I am here to help.
Thank you, Laurel. Alma.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Last but not least at all, Daniel Tamayo. Gracias. Thank you for translating, interpreting live. Laura was going fast, so kudos to you. Mars said that he lost some of his hair through COVID-19 time and distance learning. I got the gray coming. I got my curls that are going frizzy. I hope that didn't happen to you, Daniel, but thank you for keeping up today with our interpretation.
Thank you so much.
And I'm gonna go ahead and toss it back to my colleague Mars so we can say lasting words, and Mars, you can close us out.
No, just want to say again, thank you, Laurel. Amazing job, and to the team. You know, everyone on this panelist list. It's an amazing journey that we're having right now this week, and I just can't wait till tomorrow to listen to Michael McCormick, who has been a stellar superintendent in Riverside County at Valverde, and he is going to talk about what it takes to be a leader, particularly around the work of family engagement, and how do we engage stakeholders, parents, community partners in the work to increase academic achievement. So you don't want to miss that tomorrow. Again, thank you all, and we'll see you all tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
We'll see you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.